Hey guys, welcome back. We now know how to create and load Hive tables. In this lesson, we're going to learn about two different types of Hive tables and the significance of each. There are two types of tables in Hive: managed table and external table. Managed table has full control over its data. That is, when you drop the table's dataset or files will be also deleted from HDFS. External table, however, does not have full control over its dataset. That is, when you drop the dataset is not deleted from HDFS. Now, this explanation brings up a very important question. When do you use managed table and when do you use external table? Can you guess? You would choose to use managed table when Hive is the only application using the dataset, whereas you would choose to use external table when the underlying dataset pointed by Hive table is shared by many applications like Pig, MapReduce jobs, etc. Think about this. When multiple applications are interested in a dataset, would you keep multiple copies of the same dataset, one for each application? No, you wouldn't, because most likely your dataset will be in the magnitude of gigabytes or terabytes, and so it does not make sense to keep multiple copies of the dataset, which means when a single copy of the dataset is shared between applications, you don't want Hive to delete the dataset when the table is dropped. Now that we understand the difference between the managed table and external table, let's see how to create a managed table and how to create an external table. By default, when you create a table, it is a managed table. If you want to create an external table, you have to specify the keyword external when you create the table. The stocks table, it's already on our cluster, so let's do a describe formatted on the stocks table. Let's copy this describe formatted command and let's execute this in our cluster. Check out the table type on the screen. It says managed table. So which means our stocks table under stocks_db database is a managed table. Let's check out the data set under the location attribute. So let's copy this location and let's do a Hadoop FSLS on the location. So we see the data set under the location specified in the location attribute in HDFS. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drop the table and check the location again. Let's drop the table using the drop table command. Drop table stocks_db.stocks. The table is now dropped. Now let's check the location again. No such file or directory. Oops, which means the dataset is now dropped as well. So if anyone is referring to this dataset, sorry, we deleted the dataset. Now that is the behavior of managed table. Let's now look at the external table. Here is the create table syntax to create an external table. As you can see, you see the external keyword mentioned in the syntax. Let's create this table and let's do a describe formatted command on this table. The table is now created. Now let's do describe formatted stocks_ext. There you go. As you can see, the table type is mentioned as external table. Let's now load this table using this load instruction right here. The table is now loaded. Let's verify the location of this table before and after dropping the table. So here's the location of the external table. So let's take a copy of that and let's do an FSLS on the table. As you can see, you see the data set now. So I'm going to drop the table now. Drop table stocks_ext. Now that the table is dropped, let's do a listing on the location again. There you go. You still see the dataset, which is exactly what we expect to see with external table. So knowing when to use managed table and when to use external table is crucial. Agree? We get this question a lot. Does using the location attribute when creating a table change the behavior of managed table or external table? The answer is no. When you create a table in Hive, by default, Hive creates a directory for that table under Hive's warehouse directory. Let's say for some reason you don't want the tables directory to be under the warehouse directory. You can override the location using the location attribute during table creation. Or think about this scenario, whereas a pig script runs every night in your cluster and creates a dataset in a HDFS location. Now you want Hive to use this dataset. In this case, you would use an external table and use the location attribute to point to the location which is populated by pig. In this scenario, you could have used manage table as well, but external table is more appropriate because this location is also being used by pig script to populate the dataset. So you won't drop the location when you decide to drop the table, since the location is also being shared by pig. Sounds good? So let's summarize. We now know there are two types of tables in Hive: manage table and external table. When a managed table is dropped, the underlying data will also be dropped. But dropping an external table doesn't drop the dataset. So external table is a good choice when the Hive table is pointing to a dataset which is shared by other applications. With that, let's wrap this lesson. See you in the next lesson.